Welcome to Sacred Stillness, a place where the noise of the world fades and the soul finally breathes. If you have ever smiled just to make people stop asking, if you've ever said, "I'm fine," while quietly falling apart, if you've ever hidden your pain so well that even you've started believing the performance, then this prayer is for you. Because sometimes the hardest part isn't the pain, it's pretending it's not there. It's wearing a mask so convincing that no one dares to look behind it. It's carrying the weight of sadness with a grin just to keep the questions away. But what if tonight you didn't have to pretend? This is a prayer for the weary hearts who keep showing up even when they're unraveling inside. For the souls who ache to be seen, not pitied. Who long for someone, anyone, to ask, "How are you?" and truly mean it. And if no one else stays long enough to hear the real answer, I want you to know, God does. So take a deep breath. You don't have to smile here. You don't have to hold it together. Just let go and let Him see you. Because tonight's prayer is called, "God, I smile so people stop asking." A prayer for the soul hiding behind "I'm fine." And it was written with you in mind. The mask we wear. God, I've become so good at pretending. I've learned how to smile on command, nod at the right times, laugh just loud enough to seem okay. I've learned how to say "I'm good" before anyone even finishes asking. I've learned how to keep the conversation light, how to change the subject when it gets too close to the truth. I've mastered the art of looking fine, even when everything inside me is quietly falling apart. And the strangest part is, no one ever notices. No one sees the pause before I speak, the way my eyes avoid theirs just a second too long, the way my voice shakes when I say I'm okay. Because I've made the performance look natural. So natural that even I forget I'm performing. Sometimes I catch myself in the mirror, smiling, not because I feel joy, but because I've trained myself to smile when someone walks into the room. Because it's safer to look fine than to be questioned. Because if they knew how tired I really am, I'm not sure what they'd do. God, it's not that I want attention. It's that I don't want to fall apart alone. I don't want pity. I don't want to be fixed. I just want someone to sit beside me and not ask me to be stronger than I am. But the world doesn't give space to silent sorrow. So I wear this mask, this polite, cheerful, functioning version of myself. And behind it, I'm lonely. I'm tired. I'm aching for someone to notice what I've buried beneath the surface. God, do you see it? Do you see how much effort it takes just to show up? How exhausting it is to keep smiling when my soul feels empty? Do you see the part of me that whispers, "Please, someone notice I'm not okay"? Because I don't know how to stop performing. I don't know how to take off the mask. Not without falling apart in front of people who might walk away. But I want to believe that you don't flinch at my real face, that you're not repelled by the mess beneath the makeup, that you're not confused when my smile doesn't match the heaviness in my heart. So here I am, God, unmasking slowly, carefully, quietly, in your presence where I don't have to fake it. In your presence where I can be fully seen and still fully loved. Let this be the place where pretending ends. Let this be the moment when you see me and stay. The exhaustion of pretending. God, I'm tired, but not the kind of tired sleep can fix. I'm tired of pretending. Tired of acting like everything is fine when nothing feels right. Tired of showing up with a smile that isn't mine, just so no one asks what's wrong. Every day feels like a performance I didn't audition for. Every conversation, a tightrope walk between honesty and what's socially acceptable. I laugh when I want to cry. I talk about the weather when my heart is storming. I hold it together for others and fall apart when no one's looking. And it's exhausting. It drains me in ways I can't explain. It's not just emotional, it's physical. My body aches from the tension I carry in silence. My shoulders are heavy with all the things I don't say. My smile hurts. My silence screams. And still, I keep going. Because I don't want to be a burden. Because I don't want to make things awkward. Because I don't want people to feel helpless when they realize they can't fix me. But God, the truth is, I'm not okay. And the longer I pretend to be, the more it breaks me inside. It's like walking around with a mask glued to my skin, so tightly attached that I forget what my real face looks like. And when I try to rest, I can't. Because even in stillness, I'm rehearsing. Even in silence, I'm bracing for impact. I don't know how to simply be without performing. I miss the days when I felt safe enough to be honest, when I could say I'm hurting and not feel ashamed, when I didn't have to translate my pain into something more palatable. Now, even my prayers feel rehearsed. Even my cries feel controlled. God, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to wake up dreading another day of pretending. I don't want to go to sleep wondering if I'll ever feel known again. I want to breathe without faking. I want to speak without editing. I want to be real, even if real is messy, even if real is broken. So I bring you the pieces, the exhaustion, the numbness, the aching behind my grin, and I ask you quietly, can you still love me like this? Can you sit with me in the weariness? Can you meet me in the place where pretending ends and raw truth begins? Because if you can, then maybe I don't have to keep performing anymore. Maybe being loved isn't something I have to earn with a smile. Maybe being seen isn't something I have to fear. God, I'm tired. Please meet me here. The fear of being seen. God, I think the truth is, I'm scared to be seen. Not seen the way people glance at you in passing, but really seen. Deeply, clearly, without all the polished edges and polite deflections. Because what if they see me and decide I'm too much? What if they see the sadness behind my smile and leave? What if they find the mess inside and decide I'm not worth the effort? I've been brave before, God. I've let people in. I've told the truth once or twice, hoping someone would hold it with gentleness. But instead, I was met with silence, with awkwardness, with quick fixes or quiet exits. And now I flinch at the idea of being honest, because I've learned that vulnerability doesn't always lead to connection. Sometimes it just leaves you more exposed, more alone. So I hide. I hide behind humor. I hide behind distractions. I hide behind being helpful, being busy, being fine. Because at least in hiding, I feel safe, even if I feel invisible too. And yet, there's still this longing, this ache for someone to truly know me, to look past the surface and say, I see you, and I'm not going anywhere. But I've buried that hope so deep, even I've stopped believing in it. God, what do you see when you look at me? Do you see past the fake calm and forced cheer? Do you see the girl who's been holding her breath, waiting for someone to notice she's drowning? Because I don't need solutions, I need presence. I don't need someone to fix me, I need someone to stay. I want to believe you stay, even when I'm not strong, even when I'm falling apart, even when I can't hide how broken I really feel. But a part of me still whispers, if you really saw all of me, would you still love me? Would you still draw close when I'm not polished, not composed, not impressive? Would you still call me yours when I'm raw and unraveling? God, I want to be seen, but I'm terrified that if I take off the mask, there'll be nothing worth loving underneath. So I keep pretending, even with you sometimes. I say the right words, I play the part, because it feels safer than risking rejection, even from you. But here in this quiet moment, I'm risking it anyway. I'm letting you see me, not the version I crafted, but the one I've hidden. And I'm asking, please don't turn away. Please stay. Please love me even here. When I'm fine becomes a habit. God, somewhere along the way, I'm fine stopped being an answer and became a habit. It rolls off my tongue before I even think, before I check in with myself, before I acknowledge the storm quietly building inside my chest. I'm fine has become my shield, my script, my default setting. Even when I'm anything but. I've said it through tears, I've said it through panic, I've said it with a voice that was breaking, and somehow no one questioned it. Because I've said it so many times, so convincingly, that people believe it. And now they don't even ask twice. And maybe that's what hurts most. That I've said I'm fine for so long, the world forgot how to see me any other way. But you see me, don't you, God? You see the way I hesitate before answering. You see the way I tense up when someone gets too close to the truth. You see the tiny pauses, the silence between words that say more than the words themselves. I've made a home out of pretending, decorated it with distractions, furnished it with tasks and routines, and just enough noise to drown out the ache. But it's still hollow, still empty, still echoing with the quiet truth I keep hiding. And the worst part is, I've gotten so used to saying I'm fine, I've forgotten how to be real. I don't know how to say, actually, I'm not okay. I don't know how to let the words fall out without shame. I don't know how to admit weakness without feeling like a burden. So I keep saying it. Even to myself. Even to you sometimes. But not tonight. Tonight, I want to say something truer. I want to say, I'm tired. I'm scared. I'm aching for someone to care. I'm longing to feel held, not judged, not fixed, just held. God, can you handle the truth of me? Not the performance, not the public version, but the real me, the one who forgot how to speak honestly, the one who's been saying I'm fine out of fear that the truth would push everyone away. Let this be the moment when the habit breaks. Let this be the place where honesty breathes again. Because if I can be honest with you, maybe I'll remember how to be honest with myself. And maybe that's where healing begins. The silent loneliness. God. It's strange how I can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. I laugh in crowded rooms. I text back with emojis and exclamation points. I show up to the birthday dinners and work meetings and family calls, and yet I feel invisible, like I'm just there, like I exist but no one really sees me. It's not that I want constant attention. I don't need to be the loudest voice or the center of every conversation. But sometimes I wish someone would notice the quiet ache behind my eyes, the way my smile fades too fast, the way my energy dips right after I say, "I'm good." Because the truth is, I feel like a background character in my own life. I feel like I'm floating through the motions, doing what I'm supposed to, saying what's expected, and still missing something I can't name. It's not dramatic, it's not loud. It's just this quiet emptiness that follows me from room to room, from conversation to conversation, from day to day. And I don't talk about it much because it's hard to explain, because loneliness isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's about not feeling known, not feeling chosen, not feeling like anyone sees you, the real you, and stays. God, I don't want to admit it, but I think I've started to believe that I'm forgettable. That if I disappeared, people would move on faster than I want to believe. That if I stopped showing up, no one would ask why. And that hurts more than I can say. I want to be missed. I want to be looked for. I want someone to notice the silence I'm drowning in. But even when no one does, you do, right? Even in the loneliness that doesn't make sense, even when I feel like I'm fading into the background, you see me. You notice when my voice goes quiet. You hear the words I don't say. You understand the weight behind the smile. God, please meet me here, in this silent loneliness that I don't know how to shake. Remind me that I am not forgotten, that being unseen by the world doesn't mean I'm unseen by you, that even when no one else reaches out, you are already here. So I'm reaching back, not with perfect words or polished prayers, just with this quiet whisper. God, please don't let me disappear. The soul's quiet cry. God, there's a sound my soul makes that no one else seems to hear. It's not loud. It doesn't crash like thunder or break like glass. It's softer than silence, quieter than a whisper, but it's constant. It's the sound of holding it all in, of swallowing the pain, the fear, the ache, just to make it through another day. It's the sound of saying, "I'm fine," while screaming inside. The sound of smiling while everything inside me trembles. And I wonder, does anyone else hear it? Can anyone else feel this quiet unraveling beneath the surface? Because I do. I hear it every morning when I wake up already tired. I hear it when I scroll through messages, hoping someone will reach out first. I hear it in the spaces between small talk, in the hollow "take care" and the rushed "talk soon." I hear it in the way I avoid mirrors, not because I dislike how I look, but because I'm afraid of seeing how empty I've become. And still, I keep going. Because what's the alternative? Falling apart in public? Letting people know how deeply I'm struggling? No. I've learned to cry quietly, to break privately, to fall apart only when the door is closed and the lights are off. But God, even in the darkness, my soul keeps crying. And I wonder if you hear it. I wonder if you sit beside me when I'm curled up on the bathroom floor, hands over my mouth so no one hears me sob. Do you? Are you there when I feel like no one would notice if I disappeared? Are you listening when my soul doesn't have words, only ache? I don't need fireworks or miracles right now. I don't need all the answers. I just need to know you hear me, that my quiet cries still matters to you, that even if the world moves on, you stay. Because the pain isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's in the quiet, the long sighs, the blank stares, the fake laughs, and sometimes it's in the questions that haunt me at night. Will it always feel this heavy? Will anyone ever really see me? God, am I too much or not enough? So I bring you my soul's cry. Not loud, not fancy, not well worded, just real. And I ask you, please don't ignore it. Please don't turn away. Because even if no one else hears me, you do. And if you hear me, then maybe I'm not as alone as I feel.
The turn to God. God, I've tried turning to people. I've tried dropping hints in conversations, hoping someone would ask the second time, hoping they'd hear what I wasn't saying. But most of the time, they don't. Not because they don't care, but because they're busy, distracted, unsure of what to do with someone else's quiet pain. So I started keeping it in. And now, when it all becomes too heavy, when the weight of pretending feels unbearable, I find myself here, turning to you. Not because I've figured out how to trust, not because I suddenly feel brave, but because I've run out of places to hide. Because you are the only one who won't turn away when I'm at my worst. You're the only one who doesn't need me to perform. You don't ask me to be strong before I speak. You don't ask me to clean up before I come close. You already know. You see every tremble in my voice. You see the tears I don't let fall. You see how hard I try to keep functioning when all I want to do is collapse. And still, you stay. You don't flinch when I'm raw. You don't back away when I'm undone. You don't shame me for feeling what I feel. You are the safest place I know. So, here I am, God. Not with polished words or well-practiced prayers, but with everything I've been holding back. I turn to you not because I'm strong, but because I've run out of strength. Not because I know what to pray, but because I finally stopped pretending I don't need to. I turn to you because you're not asking me to perform. You're inviting me to rest. You're not asking me to impress. You're asking me to be honest. So I'm trying. I'm bringing you the mess, the ache, the questions I'm too afraid to say out loud. I'm bringing you the smile that isn't real and the tears that are. Because maybe, just maybe, this is where healing begins. Not in perfection, but in presence. Not in answers, but in being seen. God, I turn to you now, because no one else hears the cry underneath the silence, because no one else knows how to hold this ache without asking it to shrink. So here I am, unfiltered, undone, unworthy, and still reaching. Please meet me here. Please stay. Please be the place I fall apart and don't have to apologize for it.
Being seen truly. God, you see me, don't you? Not the version I present to the world, not the polished replies or practiced smiles,
Not the performance I've learned to perfect so no one asks too many questions. You see beneath all that. You see the trembling beneath my confidence, the fear behind my friendliness, the ache tucked behind my eyes when I say, "It's fine." And the thing that undoes me most is that you stay. You don't look away when I'm unraveling. You don't flinch when I'm honest. You don't need me to wrap my pain in pretty language or spiritual cliches. You don't require explanations. You don't ask me to be less emotional, less messy, less complicated. You just see me, fully, honestly, without filters, without judgment. And in a world that often turns away from discomfort, that chooses ease over depth, that tells us to get it together instead of sit and rest, your gaze is something I'm still learning to trust. Because I've grown used to earning love. I've grown used to keeping the peace, being agreeable, being the one who holds it all together. I've grown used to hiding my real self in fear of being too much or not enough. But you aren't afraid of the real me. You aren't scared by my sadness. You aren't put off by my questions or the heaviness I carry. You see me and you don't pull away. You draw closer. Not because I'm strong, not because I've earned it, but because you are love, and real love stays. God, I don't want to hide from you anymore. Not my sorrow, not my loneliness, not my exhaustion. I don't want to keep bringing you the acceptable version of myself. I want to bring you the truth. Because if you already see it all, why keep pretending? So here it is. The broken pieces, the bruised heart, the tangled thoughts, the questions I haven't dared to say out loud. I'm handing them over, not because I have the strength, but because I'm tired of carrying them alone. Because something deep inside me still believes that being seen by you is the safest thing in the world. God, thank you for not turning away. Thank you for seeing all of me and still choosing to stay. The healing of honesty. God, I've spent so much of my life trying to be okay, trying to say the right things, trying to keep my voice steady, trying to keep the tears from rising when someone says, "How are you really?" Because I thought that honesty was too risky, too messy, too heavy to place in someone else's hands. I believed that if I told the truth, the whole truth, I'd lose people. I'd be judged. I'd be labeled dramatic or too sensitive or not strong enough. So I learned to edit my story, to filter my pain, to offer people only the pieces I thought they could handle. And I did the same with you. Even in prayer, I softened my ache. I made it sound neater than it really was. I spoke to you like I was applying for approval, not like a child speaking to their father. But God, it's exhausting to pretend in front of the only one who already knows. You've seen the nights I've cried without sound. You've heard the thoughts I've buried under busyness. You felt the weight in my chest before I ever had the words to name it. And yet you never pulled away. You never said, "Come back when you've cleaned up." You never said, "Fix yourself first, then we'll talk." Instead, you whispered, "Come as you are." Even when "as I am" is tired, even when "as I am" is unsure, even when "as I am" is barely holding on. And in that invitation, in that sacred space where I stop performing and start confessing, I feel something shifting. I feel a gentleness I forgot existed, I feel a warmth that meets me right in the middle of my mess. I feel healing, slow, soft, and holy. Not because everything is fixed, but because I'm finally being real. Maybe honesty doesn't scare you. Maybe it draws you closer. Maybe you don't bless the version of me I tried to become. Maybe you bless the one I actually am. The trembling one, the breaking one, the one who finally says, God, I'm not okay, but I trust you still want me. So here I am. No more sugarcoating, no more hiding behind strength. Just me. Honest, hurting, but held. And in this raw, unfiltered truth, I feel something like freedom. I feel something like love that doesn't ask me to earn it. Thank you for being the safest place I've ever told the truth. Thank you for turning honesty into healing.
The sacred smile. God, I used to smile to survive. It was armor. It was habit. It was the way I kept people from asking questions I didn't want to answer. There was a time when my smile was a shield, a carefully practiced curve of the lips that said, "Don't worry about me. I've got this. I'm okay." But I wasn't. That smile hid exhaustion. It hid heartbreak. It hid the quiet voice inside me that whispered, I don't know how much longer I can do this. And the world, it loved that version of me. The cheerful one, the capable one, the one who could take care of everything and still offer warmth. So I kept smiling, even when it felt like lying, even when it left me feeling invisible, even when it took everything in me just to get through the day. But now, something is changing. Because I've learned what it feels like to be seen by you, truly seen, and still loved. I've learned what it means to let the tears fall and not be shamed for them. I've learned what it means to stop hiding and start healing. I've learned that I don't have to earn rest or grace or love. And slowly, gently, my smile is changing too. It's no longer something I use to cover the truth. It's something that rises from it. It's not a performance. It's not a disguise. It's a reflection of the peace I'm beginning to find in being fully known and fully held. Now when I smile, it comes from a deeper place. Not because everything is perfect, but because I'm no longer pretending. Because I'm not carrying it all alone. Because I'm not hiding anymore. Because I've been met in the mess and not abandoned. This smile, it's sacred. Not because it's bright or flawless, but because it's honest. Because it belongs to someone who has faced the ache and stayed. Someone who has fallen apart and still found grace. Someone who is learning to live unmasked, unfiltered, and unafraid. God, thank you. Thank you for sitting with me in the sadness. Thank you for staying through the silence. Thank you for being the one who never asked me to smile to be loved, but taught me how to smile because I am. And now, this smile, it's real, it's tender, it's mine, and it's yours too. The weight of unspoken grief. God, there are things I never say out loud. Not because I don't feel them, but because I don't know how to carry them in words. Because some sorrows feel too deep for language, too heavy for conversation, too sacred, or too strange to explain. So I bury them. I bury them under busyness, under smiles, under phrases like, it's fine, or it is what it is. But
just because I don't speak of them doesn't mean they're gone. They linger. They sit in my chest like stones. They show up in the way I pause before answering, in the way I stare at the ceiling at night, replaying things I can't change, re-grieving things I never fully processed. There's grief that has no funeral, no name, no closure. Grief for who I used to be. Grief for what I never got to say. Grief for the moments that slipped away without warning. Grief for the version of me that learned to silence pain just to be accepted. And the world, it moves so fast. It doesn't stop for unspoken grief. It celebrates healing that looks tidy, but overlooks the healing that's slow, private, and quiet. So I keep it all tucked away. These unnamed sorrows, these invisible bruises. But you, God, you see what no one else sees. You notice the things I never say. You hear the grief that never made it into words. You understand the weight of what I've carried, silently, for years. And you don't rush me. You don't demand explanations. You don't ask me to be over it already. Instead, you sit with me in the stillness. You hold space for the ache. You let the silence speak. And in that sacred quiet, you gently remind me that unspoken grief is still worthy of healing. That what I feel, even if I can't name it, matters to you. That you mourn with me. That you are not a God who only celebrates joy, but one who draws close to sorrow. So here I am, bringing you the heaviness I never had words for, the ache I tucked behind laughter, the weight I told myself was too small to name. I give it to you now, not because I know how to fix it, not because I expect it to vanish, but because I believe you care. Because I trust you won't shame me for carrying what I never had the safety to release. Thank you, God, for honoring grief, even the silent kind, for lifting what I thought I had to bear alone, for showing me that even pain, unspoken, is still pain you hold with tenderness. The loneliness in crowds. God, I don't know how to explain this kind of loneliness. It's not about being alone in a room. It's not about silence or solitude. It's something stranger, something harder. It's the loneliness that follows me even when I'm surrounded by people. The kind that creeps in during conversations. The kind that echoes inside me while I laugh. The kind that makes me feel invisible, even when eyes are looking right at me. I go to the gatherings. I show up for the dinners and the small talk and the smiles. But somewhere inside, I feel disconnected, like I'm watching life happen around me, but not really part of it, like I'm just filling space. I nod when I should. I laugh on cue, but the connection doesn't go deep. The warmth doesn't always reach my heart. And then I go home, back to my quiet corner, and I wonder, what's wrong with me? Why does it seem so easy for others to belong? Why do they slide into conversations like they were made for them, while I feel like I'm translating everything through a fog? Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's the parts of me I never show, the weight I carry that doesn't fit neatly into small talk, the questions I hold that feel too heavy for casual company. So I keep it all inside, and I keep showing up, and I keep feeling alone. Not because no one's around, but because no one truly sees what's within me. But you, God, you do. You see me in a room full of people. You hear the thoughts behind my forced laughter. You know when I'm aching to be known, but too tired to explain myself. You're the only one who doesn't need me to find the right words. You're the only one who can reach into the silent part of me that feels separate from everything and everyone. And in that separation, you draw near. You don't need me to fit in. You don't need me to keep up the performance. You simply sit beside me in the invisible ache, reminding me I am not lost, not forgotten, not as disconnected as I feel. Because you are the God who sees in crowds, who notices the one who feels unseen, who stays with the soul that doesn't know how to belong. So when the room feels too loud and I still feel alone, when I smile and nod and wonder if anyone would notice if I disappeared, remind me, God, you would. You already have. And you're not going anywhere.
The pressure to be okay. God, sometimes I feel like being okay is an unspoken rule. Like the world expects me to bounce back, to smile quickly, to move on from pain without making a mess of it. Like grief has a deadline. Like sadness needs a reason. Like being human is only allowed if it's convenient. And so I try. I try to be strong even when I'm falling apart. I try to be kind even when I'm breaking inside. I try to be productive, polite, pleasant, even when I feel like I'm barely holding myself together. Because there's pressure, so much pressure, to heal quickly, to not inconvenience anyone, to not make them uncomfortable with my pain, to carry everything quietly and say, I'm fine, even when I'm clearly not. It's in the way people flinch at tears, in the way they change the subject when honesty shows up, in the way silence grows thick when someone says, actually, I'm not okay. And so I've learned to smile instead, to joke, to keep the heaviness hidden behind phrases like, it's all good, when it's not. But God, you never asked me to be okay. You never demanded that I be cheerful for you to stay. You've never shamed me for my sadness or silenced my ache. You are not afraid of brokenness. You are not repelled by weakness. You don't rush me through pain like it's a line to get through. You walk with me in it, step by step. So why do I keep pretending? Why do I feel like I have to impress even you with my composure? Why do I feel guilty for being honest with how much it still hurts? God, I don't want to live under the pressure to be okay anymore. I want to rest in the truth that I'm still loved when I'm not strong, that I'm still held when I'm not smiling, that I'm still worthy of presence even when I don't bring peace into the room. You are not embarrassed by my mess. You are not keeping score of how quickly I recover. You are not timing my healing. Instead, you're offering rest. You're offering space to fall apart without shame. You're offering love that doesn't hinge on my performance. So tonight, I'm letting go of the pressure. I'm laying it down at your feet, the need to appear okay, the fear of being too much, the guilt for feeling deeply. And I'm asking you to hold what I can't hold anymore. Not because I need you to fix everything right now, but because I need to know it's okay not to be okay. With you, it is.
The guilt of not feeling grateful. God, I know I have blessings. I can name them, I can list them. I've been taught to count them, to hold them close, to say thank you for all the good things. And I do. I say thank you for the roof over my head, for food on my table, for moments of laughter, for people who care, for all the things others might not have. But sometimes, even with all of that, I still feel empty. And then the guilt rushes in. Because how can I feel sad when I have so much? How can I ache when others are suffering more? How can I carry heaviness in a life that looks blessed on paper? And so I shrink my pain. I silence it with comparison. I scold myself for the emptiness inside, for the longing I can't name, for the ache that keeps returning, even in the presence of beauty. And that guilt, it's quiet but sharp. It tells me I'm ungrateful. It whispers that I'm selfish for wanting more. It shames me for not being satisfied. But God, you are not guilt. You are not shame. You are not standing over me, arms crossed, waiting for me to snap out of it. You are not measuring my gratitude against my sadness. You are not angry when I struggle to feel joy, even in the middle of gifts. Because you know that sometimes gratitude and grief exist in the same breath. You know that the human heart is layered, that I can love what I have and still ache for something deeper, that I can say thank you sincerely and still whisper, but I'm hurting. And you don't turn away from that tension. You meet me there, in the in-between, in the place where I'm trying to be thankful and still trying to make sense of the sorrow I carry. So I bring you both tonight, the thank you and the why, the blessings and the burden, the smile and the weight behind it. I'm not hiding it anymore because you're not asking for perfect gratitude, you're asking for honesty. And sometimes the most honest thing I can say is, God, I'm thankful and I'm tired. God, I see the good, but I still feel the ache. God, I'm trying to praise you, but my soul is weary. And you receive that. You don't push it away. You don't shame me into smiling harder. You simply stay. And that might be the greatest blessing of all. When your faith feels flat. God, there are days when my faith feels quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but distant, empty, flat. Like I'm praying into a void. Like I'm going through the motions and waiting to feel something again. Like I know you're real, but I can't feel you right now. And that scares me. Because I used to feel you so clearly, in songs, in silence, in the way tears would fall and somehow feel holy, in the way scripture used to stir something deep inside me. But lately, it feels different. I still show up, I still whisper prayers, I still believe, I really do. But the feeling is missing, the spark, the warmth, the sense of closeness I used to carry like oxygen. And I wonder, did I drift too far? Did I lose something along the way? Or is this part of the journey no one talks about? Because I thought faith would always feel full, always feel fiery, always feel alive. But here I am, trying to worship when I feel numb, trying to trust when I feel disconnected, trying to talk to you when it feels like I'm not being heard. And still, some part of me won't let go. Some quiet part deep in my soul still believes you're near, even when I don't feel you. Maybe this is what real faith looks like. Not fireworks, not constant emotion, but choosing you when the room is silent, choosing you when I feel unseen, choosing you when my heart feels dry but still reaches for you anyway. God, I miss the closeness. I miss the tears that came so easily when I worshiped. I miss the joy I used to feel just speaking your name. I miss feeling moved. But I'm still here, and maybe that's faith too. Not just in how loud I sing, but in how I keep showing up when there's no music at all. I won't fake it. I won't force it. But I won't walk away either. Because even when my faith feels flat, I know you're not. You're still good. You're still God. You're still listening, even when I have nothing poetic to offer. So I'll keep praying even with a quiet voice. I'll keep walking even with heavy steps. I'll keep believing even with an empty heart. And I'll trust that one day the spark will return, that this quiet season won't last forever, that you're still working even when I can't feel anything. Because faith isn't a feeling, it's staying when the feeling fades.
The longing to be held, not fixed. God, I know you can fix things. You're powerful. You speak and stars form. You breathe and life begins. You can heal what's broken in an instant. And I believe you've done that for others. I've read the stories, I've heard the testimonies, I've watched the miracles unfold. But tonight, I'm not asking you to fix me. I'm just asking you to hold me. Because there are parts of me that don't need answers. They just need comfort. There are wounds that don't need solutions. They just need safety. There are questions that may never be resolved, but they can be cradled in love. And that's what I'm longing for. Not a lecture, not a step-by-step recovery plan, not a command to be strong or try harder, just arms around me, just the steady presence of someone who won't walk away. Because sometimes, God, I don't need to be reminded that you're strong. I just need to know you're gentle, that you're not rushing me through this, that you're not impatient with my pain, that you're not disappointed in how long I've been struggling. I know I should want breakthrough. I know I should pray for clarity, for boldness, for joy. But tonight, all I want is to be held, like a child who doesn't need a solution, just a place to cry, a shoulder to lean on, a hand to hold. Because what hurts isn't just the pain itself, it's carrying it alone. It's pretending it's not heavy. It's smiling through what I don't even understand. But you never asked me to carry this by myself. You never asked me to figure it out alone. You simply asked me to come. So here I am, not with perfect words or clean edges, but with tears and silence and that deep ache inside me that longs to be known. Please, God, don't fix me yet. Just stay. Just sit with me. Just hold me while I fall apart. Just be here so I don't have to hold this alone anymore. And maybe that's what healing starts with, not being repaired, but being held.
Letting the walls fall down. God, I didn't even realize how many walls I've built around my heart. They started small. A hesitation here, a guarded answer there, a subtle shift in posture when someone got too close. Then, over time, brick by brick, silence by silence, I built a fortress. Not to shut people out, but to protect what felt too fragile to expose. Because I've been hurt, not by enemies, but by the moments when I was vulnerable and met with distance. When I opened up and it wasn't safe. When I let someone see the softest parts of me and they didn't stay. So I learned to be careful, to be selective, to show just enough, but never everything. And maybe that kept me safe, but it also kept me lonely. Because walls don't just keep pain out, they keep love out too. And now, God, I can feel those same walls rising when I try to draw near to you. Even with you, I flinch, I hesitate, I edit my prayers, soften my truths, shape my story in a way that feels presentable. But you don't want a performance, you want presence. You want honesty, not polish. You want the trembling version of me, the one still hiding behind heavy stone. And you're not afraid to meet me there. You whisper through the cracks. You don't shout, you don't shove. You wait, you stay, until I'm ready, until the weight of my own walls feels heavier than the risk of letting them fall. So tonight, I'm letting them fall, slowly, clumsily, but intentionally. Not all at once, not with fanfare, but piece by piece, I'm removing what I once built to survive. And I'm asking you to be gentle with what you find inside, because it's tender, it's tired, it's still learning how to trust again. God, help me believe that love doesn't always leave, that presence doesn't always come with conditions, that you can be the safe place I didn't think existed. I'm tired of hiding behind strength. I'm tired of pretending I don't need closeness. I'm tired of talking through walls and wondering why I still feel alone. So I'm risking it. I'm showing you the real me, the one who wants to be held, not just helped, the one who longs to be known, not just managed. God, if you still want me when the walls are down, then maybe I was never unlovable to begin with.
The whisper beneath the performance. God, even when I smile, there's a whisper beneath it. Even when I'm laughing, there's a quiet voice inside me that says, this isn't the whole truth. It's not that I'm trying to lie, I'm just trying to survive. I've learned how to show people what they can handle and hide the rest where it won't make anyone uncomfortable. But that whisper never leaves. It follows me through conversations, it tugs at me in crowded rooms, it grows louder in the silence after I say, I'm fine. It's the part of me that still aches, still longs, still wonders, does anyone really see me? Would they stay if they knew the full weight I carry? Is there room in this world for my unedited soul? I've performed for so long, I sometimes forget I'm performing. The smile comes easily, the tone of voice is practiced, the posture is confident. But beneath it all, I'm tired. I don't want to keep pretending that I'm always okay. I don't want to keep ignoring the quiet cry beneath my public strength. I don't want to silence that whisper anymore. Because that whisper, it's the truest part of me. It's the raw place that still hopes for tenderness. It's the inner voice that remembers how it felt to be small and honest and safe. It's the sacred ache that refuses to be erased. And God, you hear it. You've always heard it. You don't get distracted by the performance. You don't applaud the masks I wear to keep from breaking down. You look past all of it and go straight to the whisper. You meet me in the part no one else has access to. You respond to the voice I barely let myself hear. You speak to the version of me that doesn't know how to pretend anymore. And you don't turn away. You don't tell me to toughen up. You don't tell me I'm being too sensitive. You just sit with me, in the quiet, in the real, in the barely audible honesty of my soul. So here I am, letting the whisper speak, letting it rise without fear, letting it tell you what I've tried to keep hidden, that I'm overwhelmed, that I'm afraid to be fully known,
that I want to stop performing and just be loved. God, thank you for meeting me where the performance ends, where the whisper begins, where the truth finally has room to breathe. Because maybe I don't need to raise my voice to be heard by you. Maybe I just need to stop silencing the part of me that's been crying out all along.
When you feel like a burden, God, sometimes I don't reach out because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be the person who always needs help. I don't want to be the weight someone else has to carry. I don't want to be the one who brings the room down with honesty. So I stay quiet. I nod, I smile, I say, I'm okay. And even when I'm not, I convince myself it's better this way. Safer, quieter, easier for everyone. Because I've seen what happens when people get overwhelmed. I've watched them pull away from pain they didn't know how to hold. I felt the sting of being too much for someone who didn't know how to stay. And now I catch myself thinking, maybe if I just stay small, stay silent, stay easy, I won't scare anyone off. But God, the truth is, I'm hurting. And I'm tired of hiding it. I'm tired of apologizing for emotions that refuse to shrink. I'm tired of convincing myself that my needs are inconvenient. I'm tired of measuring my worth by how low maintenance I can be. Because somewhere along the way, I started believing that love has limits, that care has conditions, that my presence must always come without pain. But you don't love like that. You don't flinch when I bring the whole weight of who I am. You don't sigh when I show up with need instead of strength. You don't roll your eyes when I cry over the same thing again. You welcome me, mess, tears, fears, all of it. And you never once call me a burden. To you, I'm not too much. I'm not too emotional. I'm not an inconvenience. I'm not a project to be solved or a project to be fixed. I'm your child, and you never tire of holding me. So tonight, I bring it all, not trying to make it smaller, not trying to make it prettier, just honest, just heavy, just mine. And I lay it at your feet, believing, even if it still feels hard, that you don't see me as a burden. You see me as beloved. God, help me unlearn the lie that I must always be strong to be worthy. Help me believe that needing love doesn't make me weak, it makes me human. And in your arms, even my need is safe.
You are still worth loving. God, after everything I've confessed, everything I've carried, everything I've tried so hard to hide, there's still one question I can't shake. Am I still worth loving? After the masks, after the silence, after the breakdowns behind closed doors, after all the times I said, I'm fine, when I wasn't, and resented everyone for believing me, after the distant faith, after the tired prayers, after the tears I wiped away alone, after showing up broken again and again and again, am I still worth it? Because deep down, there's a voice that whispers, if they knew the real you, they'd walk away. If you let it all show, no one would stay. If you're not strong, not funny, not easy, you won't be wanted. I've believed it for so long, it started to feel like truth. But God, you've been whispering a different truth. A truth that doesn't flinch when I'm honest. A truth that doesn't back away when I'm undone. A truth that meets me in the middle of my mess and says, I still want you. And those words, they change everything. Because I've been measuring my worth by how well I can hold it together. I've been grading myself on how much I can give, how much I can smile, how much I can endure without breaking. But you've never asked me to earn love. You've never based your presence on my performance. You've never tied my value to my ability to appear okay. You just love me. Freely, constantly, patiently, even when I'm not sure how to receive it. So here, at the end of everything I've carried, I laid down the lie that I must be perfect to be embraced. And I received the truth I've always longed to believe. I am still worth loving. Not because I'm strong, not because I always get it right, not because I'm easy to hold, but because you are love and you call me yours. So tonight, I exhale. I let go. I stop trying to prove my worth. I stop trying to hide the parts I've been told make me too much. Because you've already seen it all, and you're still here, still choosing me, still holding me, still whispering, "You are mine. You are enough. You are still worth loving." And maybe, just maybe, that's the truth I've always needed all along.